everybody, welcome back to the Medical Projects YouTube channel. If you are new around here, welcome. My name is Olivia and I am a second year medical student at King's College London, and here on the Medical Projects YouTube channel we create new videos every single week detailing all our best tips and bits of advice to help you secure your dream place at medical school. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because we have so much exciting content coming your way. Also make sure you turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified every single time we post. Also do make sure you follow us over on our Instagram page. We are very active there and always happy to respond to any questions you may have. So before we start, I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas. I know it was a very different year and I hope you're all well and safe and enjoyed it as best as you could. Let's hope 2021 is going to be a much better year, and it might well be the year that you get your place in medical school, so that is super exciting and something to work towards. So for today's video I thought I'd do a little crash course about how to use Zoom and Microsoft Teams, because as we all know, a lot of medical school interviews this year are going to be online, and that means that you need to feel comfortable using these bits of software that many of these universities will be using. And the two most commonly utilised are Zoom and Microsoft Teams, so I thought today I'd just share with you the very basics about how to use them. Obviously there are many more features you can explore in your own time, but they are not things you're going to need to know how to do in your medical school interview and in order to log on and use these bits of software correctly. So without further ado, let's switch on over to my laptop screen and we'll have a crash course about how to use Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So the first thing we're going to look at is Zoom. So we're going to want to navigate to the Zoom website, which looks like this, and the first thing you're going to click is plans and pricing. And then what you'll want to go to sign up for is the free personal meeting plan, because it is free and that is all you need. You're going to be prompted to enter your date of birth, but because I already have an account, I'm going to go ahead and log in right here. So once you've clicked sign in, that will take you to your profile page, and the first thing I want to point out to you guys is your own personal meeting ID. You don't really need to pay attention to this because that's if you want to set up a meeting, and in your med school interviews you'll most likely be joining one. But in case you ever need your personal meeting ID, it is here. But one thing I do recommend you guys doing is change your profile picture to a picture of you. This is not a necessity, but I just think it's quite a nice way to make it a bit more personal and you're easily recognizable. So that is what I'm going to go ahead and do for you guys now. Now the way in which we just signed in is using the online website version of Zoom, but the best version of Zoom, the one I think is most functional, is the downloadable version. So I really recommend you guys download Zoom, it just works so much better. So if you just go to the download page and click download, you'll be directed to the installation process. It's super quick and it really doesn't take up much space on your computer. So as you can see, now we have the Zoom app installed on my Mac. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and sign in using the same email and password I used to sign into the web version. Now the most important part is joining a meeting. So your med school will probably send you a link that looks a lot like this, and it's very easy to join the meeting because you will click it and it should prompt you to just open up Zoom and you'll be automatically redirected to the meeting that way. Once you click to launch the meeting, you'll be placed in a waiting room and you'll wait for your interviewers to admit you to the main video screen, but until then you just need to sit tight. If a clickable link hasn't been sent to you to join the meeting, you may have to join it manually, and in order to do that you're going to click this join button here, and then you're going to put in the meeting ID that they should have supplied you with. So I've just picked off a random one from my list here, but you'll be sent one. So with both ways of joining the meeting, once you have successfully joined, you'll be directed to this page with your video on, and you want to click join with computer audio so that you can hear what they're saying. Look at me with all of my friends. So the first button to point out is the mute and unmute button. If they can't hear you, it's most likely because you're muted, and you can also turn off your video if you would like to. The participant button down below just shows you who is in the meeting. In this case, only one person, me, myself, and I. The button next to that is the chat button, and this can come in handy if, for example, you're having technical difficulties and you want them to know and no one can hear you. Next to that is the share screen button. I don't expect you having to use it during the interview, but they might ask you to write down something on the whiteboard or show your workings, for example. It's more likely that they'll share their screen with you to show you questions or bits of information for your interview. The button next to that is the record button, and again, I don't expect you'll have to use this, but you might notice that they are recording the interview. I don't know if they will, but it might be a way for them to reassess your performance at a later date, but that's what that button does there. And then next to that is a reactions button. You can clap or put a thumbs up. Again, not sure how much you'll be using this in your interview, but yeah. So if you are doing an MMI style interview, the interviewers might choose to use what's called a breakout room, and this is basically a way for you to be segregated from the main room and put into separate rooms with separate interviewers. So for example, you might be sent to a first breakout room where you meet one examiner, and then they might send you to a second breakout room after that, before returning back to the main screen as before. You'll receive a prompt to join the breakout room, so you need to click it and then you'll be automatically redirected to your new room, and then you'll be automatically placed back into the main room after your time is up. The host of the interview will normally end the meeting for all and you'll be disconnected automatically, or you can choose to click leave meeting and leave yourself. So a similar type of sign-up process is required for Microsoft Teams, so you just want to Google it and then click download Microsoft Teams and download it for your desktop or your mobile depending on what you're using. You're then going to want to create an account because it works best when you have an account, so I will go ahead and start creating mine. I do already have one, but you would be clicking sign up for free. And then you'll be redirected to this page. It's automatically defaulting to one of my emails because I already have an account, but in your case it should appear blank. The first thing I recommend doing once again is uploading a profile picture, so we're just going to click the icon in the top right and then click upload picture, and I'm going to use the same one as before. Again, it just creates a bit more personalization to your account and makes it so you're easily identifiable. So luckily joining meetings is very similar to how you would do in Zoom. So the first way is you can join via a link in your email. You just click here to join the meeting and it will open up Microsoft Teams. Sometimes these meetings will sync to your calendar, so you might often be able to join from your Microsoft Teams calendar. So as you can see here, this is a calendar showing some of my reoccurring meetings, so I can click on one of them. So once I click on the meeting, I will click join, and then that will take me to this page before I enter the meeting where I can configure any settings I would like. So I want to make sure that my microphone and speakers are turned up. You can of course mute yourself if you want to, and you can also turn the camera off if you want to. Another thing which I think is quite cool is if your bedroom's a bit messy, for example, you can blur your background and that just makes sure that the focus is maintained on you and you only. And then I'll just click join now. Again, sometimes the host will require you to wait in the waiting room before allowing you to enter, so you might be waiting a little while. The first button we have is the Show Participants button, which shows you who's in the meeting, and then to the right of that we have the meeting chat where you can write any text to people. I've blurred it out because there were people's names. And then to the right of that we have a raise and lower hand feature, and then to the right of that we have a bunch of different things you can do. So you can enter full screen, you can record the meeting, and then to the right of that we have a turn the camera on/off button, and then of course our trusty mute and unmute button. If we want to share our screen, we can click this button here where we can share our desktop, a certain window, a certain PowerPoint, and we can use the whiteboard similarly to Zoom. And then finally, to leave the meeting, we just click this big red button. So I hope you guys found those 2 mini tutorials useful, and I hope you feel way more confident using Zoom or Microsoft Teams. You should know which one you have to use. I'm sure the med school will tell you in advance, and they'll most likely send you a link to your allocated meeting time, so that all you should really have to do on the day is click the link and log on to Microsoft Teams or Zoom, whichever one they prefer to use. Please do let us know down below what you would like to see from us in 2021, any specific interview-based videos you'd like to see, because we are always trying to curate our videos around what you guys want to see. I'd also like to point out that here on Medical Projects we do offer a fantastic online MMI interview resource, and that is just going to give you the edge in your interview, and you'll receive loads of feedback about how you performed and things you can do in order to boost your interview performance in the real thing. So do make sure you check the link in the description box below for more information on that. But other than that, I hope you guys have a very happy new year. Let's hope for a better 2021, and as usual, best of luck in your interviews. I'm sure you guys are going to smash it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week in a new video, and you're not going to want to miss this one, so stay tuned. Adios!